I tried to kiss my social studies teacher today. I'm so humiliated. My mom says teachers are trained to deal with this stuff and I have to go back. Can I talk her out of making me go back? I guess I should say I'm 16 and he's probably 30-ish or so. I have had the most screwed up year ever and my parents are going through a divorce and my dad is fighting for custody even though I had him. He pays no attention to me and is already living with a woman that is 10 years older than him and she's such a bitch to me. I had to spend the weekend with my dad and spent the whole drive to school this morning with him screaming at me, and not paying attention to driving, because Sandy was tired of me being disrespectful. I have already been acting out with boys because I'm so fucking lonely and I feel like my life is just shattering into pieces. My social studies teacher is a really great guy and pretty cool in that he listens to Black Sabbath and Chna like me, and he's also was a pro snowboarder in college. He pulled me aside after class and asked if everything was okay because I failed the quiz this morning. I said that I was having a hard time. He said his parents got divorced too at my age and he still has a hard time with it, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. I don't know, we talked for a while and he sort of put his arm on my shoulder and I totally thought he was hitting on me, so I reached up and tried to kiss him. He backed way away and said no, that he was sorry that I had to leave and he didn't mean anything that would lead him to want to kiss me. I was so ashamed I started crying and walked fast out of his room. I just felt awful for the rest of the day and ditched at lunch, and I don't think I can ever go back. My mom is awesome and I can tell her everything. He said that stuff like this happens way more common than some people think and he's trained to deal with me tomorrow. She said she wants to take me to the counselor in the morning and make sure that the school knows so Mr. Breck doesn't get in trouble. I don't think can ever go back, I'm so ashamed. How do I talk her out of making me go back? It does happen more often than you'd guess. You have no reason to feel embarrassed, and you're fine. I promise your teacher is primarily worried about the strife you're going through and how he can still be supportive without being inappropriate. You're fine. We've all made silly choices in dark times. Raise your head, be confident for your future, and get back in the saddle. I'm a teacher, I teach high school. Go back to school. Your teacher will understand and empathize, and in doing so will ignore the incident completely so you can be less embarrassed. You might have to see the counselor depending on what country you're in, but you need to start working on separating positive attention and sexual attention in your head to avoid this sort of thing in the future. You might not be able to talk her out of it. That being said, teachers, experienced ones anyway, have seen it all. I'm married to one, and the stories be cray cray. I'm sure you're embarrassed and ashamed. Would feel that way too at that age, because I wouldn't understand that things like this happen, and they happen all the time. People just don't talk about it, so you feel like you're the only one. Chances are he already told a superior about it for the purposes of liability. School from an administrative view is all about insurance and liability. Protect yourself, protect the union. Teacher might even be worried he'll be accused of something. It'll pass. Don't worry. It ain't that big of a deal, although I'm sure it feels like one. She is right, you have to just face your embarrassment and deal with it and it will get better. I'm a teacher, I've been in similar situations before. Chances are, his first thought is shit, I hope I don't get into trouble. But beyond that, he's probably happy that you trust him and feel able to talk to him about the challenges in your life right now. That's his job, to educate you but also support your emotional well-being. It's just unfortunate you misinterpreted those feelings as chemistry between you two. He's probably kicking himself for failing you, for not guiding that conversation better without any mixed messages. That's why experienced teachers are usually allergic to any physical contact with students. Easiest way to cut through any awkwardness is ask another member of staff you trust to come with you and talk to him, then just say, "Thank you for being a great teacher and listening when I needed your support. Sorry I got a bit confused, it won't happen again." How do I handle my F27 nephew by marriage? M15, being sexually inappropriate with me. I feel like such a creep even posting this, but I don't know what to do. My sister-in-law's, F46, oldest son is 15 and as such is going through all the awkward puberty things. For the purpose of this post we'll call him John. When I met my now husband, M36, John was 8 years old. I've always been really close with all the nieces and nephews, and it's been a bit of a running joke in the family that I'm one of the kids since I'm closer to their age than their parents. As a result, I've always been more of a friend to the kids, a safe place they can come to talk about awkward things, rather than any sort of parent or strict disciplinarian. Over the course of the last year or so, John has started being a bit inappropriate with me. For example, he's now taller than me, and he once made a comment about how he finally has a better view, meaning my boobs. When he said that, I was shocked, gave him a good punch in the arm and said, "Do you talk to your mother that way?" Exclamation mark. And in response he said something like, "My mom doesn't look like you." Another time, I was in his sister's room and we were talking about boys/the birds and the bees. She's 14 and feels like I'm a safe place to talk openly about stuff like that. He walked in and started asking questions as well. I didn't really think anything of it because I thought it was a good opportunity for all of us to talk openly about the things they were learning about in school sex ed. I didn't want them to feel awkward or ashamed of their bodies if they had questions, so I did my best to answer them respectfully, because I know it can be embarrassing to talk to your mom or dad about that sort of stuff. But then he started asking pretty explicit sexual questions, to which I responded by saying, "Oh, I'd if that's my place, maybe ask your dad." He then started asking me what I liked sexually, if I let my husband, his uncle, do certain things to me, etc. I avoided answering, saying women are all very different, so it's important to learn what your partner wants, etc. without being graphic or specific. But I felt a little uncomfortable and told him it's inappropriate to ask someone, especially his aunt, questions like that. I've also overheard his friends refer to me as Hot Aunt my name. He'll also go out of his way to touch me, not inappropriately necessarily, but asking for hugs when he sees me, or he'll put his hands on my hips and move me if he needs to get around me and I'm in his way, tickling/teasing me, or pulling on my hair. He always used to do that sort of stuff when he was little and I would babysit him. We've always just had this playful little relationship, which is fine when he's 8, but it just feels weird now. So I've stopped hugging him and just sort of make an effort not to be that affectionate toward him anymore. I haven't voiced my concerns to his mom or my husband because I'm afraid I'm reading too much into this and it will make me look like a creep if I find it creepy. Does that make sense? Like, it's probably all innocent and I just find it weird because he's older now. Edit. Okay, yikes. Apparently I wasn't reading too much into this and y'all are convinced he's some sort of burgeoning rapist. I agree he needs boundaries, but I've never felt unsafe around him. He's a really good kid, just hopped up on confusing hormones apparently. I'll talk to my husband and see how he wants to go about it. And I agree I need to be better about voicing my discomfort, and being stern with overstepped boundaries. I've always been terrible at any sort of confrontation, so I tend to pathologically ignore problems, usually to my own detriment. He is being a pervert and you need to nip it in the bud, and now your husband or his father need to have a man-to-man talk with him about consent and sexual harassment. I would also tell him to cut out the talk about your body and definitely don't let him touch you anymore. In fact, I would go out of my way to avoid him. If he says anything, tell him he's overstepping the mark. He then started asking me what I liked sexually, if I let my husband, his uncle, do certain things to me, etc. I try to answer generally. Don't answer these questions. Tell him he's being an inappropriate asshole and that you're telling his mom. Do not let him touch you at all. No hugs. Shout at him the moment he does something inappropriate. Right now you are actively teaching him that it is okay to harass women. Tell him firmly no whenever lines are crossed from now on, and tell his parents everything that has been happening immediately. Stop being the cool aunt and start being a responsible adult. That's inappropriate. He is just showing him this type of behavior is tolerated. If he's okay acting like this towards you, I can't imagine how he's treating girls his own age. Let's hope he doesn't try this crap on a girl with a mother like me. Actually, I hope he does. He doesn't have an basis for what is right and wrong until someone sits this guy down and makes it abundantly clear this isn't okay. Don't hit him in the arm and make a jovial statement when he does something inappropriate. Stop things, tell him why what he did was not okay, and make it clear he isn't to do that again. He is still a teen, and normal to him is what society shows him is normal. So show him what that baseline is, and make it clear he is to respect you more than he is today. Like, it's probably all innocent and I just find it weird because he's older now. So if you find it weird, it's not innocent. And it's not. He's being inappropriate and that needs to be nipped in the bud. I mean, would you be okay with your husband or male co-worker or friend talking to you like this? No, and people make the boys will be boys excuse too often. They let this kind of shit go unchecked and those boys turn into gross men. Tell his parents ASAP and stop belittling your own discomfort. My stepmom, 55F, wants me, 18M, to dress up as Santa for our family Christmas card this year because I got fat. So every year for my family's Christmas card, which we make in November, some always is Santa Claus. Every year for as long I can remember it has been my father. My father is a pretty fit guy, so in order to look the part he puts padding in the suit in order for Santa to look fat. However, this year my stepmother said I have to be Santa this year because I actually look that part. What she means is that I have to be Santa because I'm actually fat. Even thought I have been overweight most of life. The reason why she called me out on it this time is because due to being home all the time over quarantine I gained a lot of weight. I gained around 60 pounds. Because of this I now have a large belly, which of course is what Santa has. I told her that I didn't want to do it since it would be embarrassing because all our family and friends would see it. She is still making me do it anyway. So, she made me try on the suit ahead of time, and the sad thing is that without the padding the suit is just the right size for me. We take the photos in about a week and I really don't want to do it and I don't know what to do. No is a complete sentence. If she can't respect your decision, that's no one's fault but hers. She had no right to tell you to that. Has she tried making your stepbro be Santa since he's only like 10 pounds lighter than you? You do know what to do. Say, no thank you. Dad can be Santa again. Don't argue, don't explain, and don't give in. Your stepmother does not get to decide to use a family Christmas photo to humiliate you for your weight gain. Don't do it. Tell her you don't want to and just don't. You're 18. Just say no. I would tell her to fuck off, and whatever you do, do not show up for the picture. He has nerve. It's okay, you can swear on the internet.